Welcome to this week's Acca, Route 1, the shorter version of our regular weekly podcast. I'm Tom, joined by Jimmy, and each Monday we'll quickly run you through the midweek action, selecting our best bets and fancies, seeing if we can build an Acca in that too. Let us know your thoughts in the comments or through Sport and Life Football's social media channels, and remember to keep it fun. Never bet more you can afford. This podcast is 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly. Right, let's see then if we can build an Acca for Tuesday. I'm feeling fairly confident that we can. There's a near full set of EFL fixtures to go at. A couple of Champions League as well. Do you think you've got enough kind of 1x2 results to go with? Should we head back towards that market?
Yeah. I think I've got enough. Do you think you've got enough?
I reckon I've got enough. I'll kick things off, actually. The strongest fancy, I think, for a lot of people, a team that are going to be a lot of Tuesday accumulators across the board, slightly later 8 p.m. kickoff, but it shouldn't put us off. West Brom at home to Cardiff. Short price, you're looking around 4 to 7 on this, but we spoke so much about West Brom in the past. Really strong home team, 10-3-2 record, 5 consecutive home wins in the league. They obviously lost to Wolves in the Cup. Always drawn to them, whoever they play at home, but in Cardiff, lost away at Leicester, they lost to Southampton, lost to Ipswich, I believe. Drew at Leeds, but that was first game of the season. I think it's fair to say if that was played now, it would probably end in a Leeds victory, as it did very recently. And a lot of the positive away results for Cardiff came early in the season as well. So I don't want to say any more. This feels straightforward. I'm hoping you'll agree with me and won't go, ooh, it's a bit too short, because it just immediately jumps out the page.
No, I agree with you. 8 to 13-ish. I think that's a brilliant price. Yep. West Brom's home form is brilliant, but I just want to mention something, and that's the team news. Baggies lost Bartley and Daryl DK at the weekend too. I know Daryl DK has not played much at all for them, but he's a brilliant player. And Bartley, on the other hand, he's ever present. Yeah, he's been there for years now, hasn't he? And on the flip side, you mentioned Cardiff's good form at the start of the season. I think I know what that was. Why that was. Aaron Ramsey. Played a lot of games at the start of the season and then got a terrible injury. He played 45 minutes against Preston last game, and he should start here.
Okay.
I'm a bit slightly worried about how much of an impact he's going to have, because he was present in that Leeds win and they picked up some points at the start of the season. That was him in the side. But the overriding thing for me is West Brom's home form. Brilliant at home, good price. So I just wanted to bring that bit of team news to your attention, but I think West Brom's still too good of a price.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we said as a starting point, are you happy to still go with West Brom despite those little bits there? I think for me, it's still fine. You still bat them to try and find a way through.
Absolutely, yeah.
Should we stick them in? First selection then. This midweek's Acca, West Brom for a home win over Cardiff. That's a very short price, so we're going to need a couple more to make it up. Who else you got for us?
I've got a game I want to talk about in the champ, because I'm slap bang on the fence for this one. It's another short price. Southampton 4 to 5, and they're away, Duff man.
Oh dear.
They're away.
Oh dear. Where are they?
They're away at Bristol City.
Okay, great.
Should have probably mentioned that. Yeah.
What's the plane?
Yeah. Well, they've won at the weekend. They won there. It must be like this. They won again, so it means there must be like 6,000 odd games unbeaten now.
2-0 down, though, weren't they, against Huddersfield? Yeah. They went 3-2 down, and it's kind of like, is it worrying signs? Is that like, if that was a better team, would they have held on? Or I don't really know.
You know what I think it is? I think it's great character.
Great character. Showed great character, didn't they?
Unbelievable character. The worrying thing for me, if you're, I don't know if you know any, but if you're a Leeds fan, or if you like Ipswich, is Southampton have got unbelievable depth. They brought on David Brooks.
Yeah.
Joe Rothwell.
Yeah, who scored a belter, didn't he? Like a side-footed, swivelling volley into the top corner.
Unbelievable technique.
Yeah.
And there's Samuel Edozie also. They'll all probably get rotated in, and those are free top draw. Straight out the top draw. Unbelievable players. So they've got great depth. But the 4 to 5, I don't know. I wanted your opinion. Do you think that's too short?
I was thinking, I don't know. That's the thing on this one, because we've been back in, say, Leicester have featured a lot.
Recently, yeah.
But at bigger prices against worse teams. I get Southampton's long unbeaten run. Eventually that will have to come to an end, and that's probably a doubt. It looked like it was going to the weekend, and they keep finding a way to go through. Bristol City, I think, are still in the playoff picture. They had a good win at Middlesbrough, didn't they? They've been okay at home. I think Leeds, who maybe a bit of an indication they're the only team to really beat them in the league down there in a while. Well, not in a while, but they've had some avoided defeat, I should say. Yeah, I don't know on this one. Price play, I'm just not sure. I don't know when we've been back in Leicester, like I said, at similar but bigger prices to beat probably worse teams.
What if I told you Southampton went off only ever so slightly shorter against QPR and Huddersfield away? Is it Huddersfield?
You tell me. You brought the stats to the table.
Definitely QPR. They definitely went off the same price away at QPR.
So we said the price is too short then if they're playing a playoff chaser.
I'd probably think so, yeah.
Probably want a bit bigger.
Yeah. But then again, there's the form and the depth, so that's why I just wanted to throw it out there. But
is there anything... I mean, we can always come back to it. I just wonder, is there anything else?
Like
I said, we've got half Championship, we've got full League One, we've got full League Two as well. Are there any others that we can go, we're a bit more confident in that, we can get straight involved in this?
Have I?
Oh, of course you have. Go on. Where are we going now?
Carl Robinson's Salford, they play Doncaster, and it's just a really simple one.
Yeah.
Team in good form against team in bad form. Under Robinson, Salford is still unbeaten. 6 games, I think, now, 3 wins, 12 points. And I've got to be honest, they was outplayed against Swindon at the weekend. Yeah. Swindon were way the better side, took the lead. Salford probably fortunate to get a point, but I'm not going to get suckered in. I'm not going to just have a hot take, get suckered into that. I still think Salford are a much better team under Carl Robinson, and you can tell us how bad Donny have been because they are not very good.
No, yeah. I could easily go with this one. Salford, you've said it there. I think they're beating Wrexham, they're beating Crewe. Is that as well during that run under Robinson? So it's good teams that they've beaten. And Doncaster, when I was having a little look around earlier, second worst away side in the division. Only Sutton have picked up fewer. They've only won twice on the road. They've lost 9 of those 14 games, I think it is, there. So what price was this, do we say? 5 to 6-ish?
Yeah.
Was it? The double there, you're floating around 2 to 1 on West Brom, who we've had in to beat Cardiff, Salford to beat Doncaster as well. I think that's a decent looking double on home teams.
Yep, I'm all over that.
Now, I want to get your opinion on this. If we take those two, we
need something a bit bigger.
Have something that would push a treble to 7.5-ish to 1.
What?
And I'm very surprised by the price on this. I think it's potentially a season-long type thing. Newport, 9 to 5 around that marker to beat Notts County. Now, if you don't follow League Two too closely, you'd think, no, Notts County, don't want to oppose them at the moment. They have slipped down to 10th in the table. And there's about 3-4 point gap between them and the playoffs. Now, they've had the drop-off that has happened there since the managerial change. It's 2 defeats in 3 under Maynard since he's come in. But the form had dipped off long before this, long after Williams had departed for Swansea. That had dropped off. Conceded 5 at Grimsby. They conceded 4 at Tranmere there as well. No win in 5. And yet, Newport, on the flip side, are charging at the moment. 5 wins in their last 6. The only time they didn't win in that run, home to Manchester United of the Premier League in the Champions League this season. Team in really good form, team in really bad form, 9 to 5, a price that's probably dictated by season-long kind of form and stuff like that. And like I said, if you get this in, that's 3 home teams there in a treble. I mentioned Southampton if you wanted to include that, but we could just take those 3 as a 7.5 to 1 treble on Tuesday night.
Superb. It really is. It really is. I didn't have anything. I knew you must fancy Newport before we come down, so I just didn't really prepare anything.
Just as ever, always prepared.
Just happy to listen to what you had to say. But I pulled up the form table, and just if you take away one thing from this selection, it's Notts County 5 points from their last 6. That's the 20th fewest in the division. Newport, no team has taken more points than their 14 across their last 6 League Two games, which they're just at complete opposite ends of the scale. What price are you getting the hosts again?
9 to 5. That's a single, but I think, we talk other short price teams. Got West Brom 8 to 13, was it? Salford around 5 to 6. You chuck that in. I mean, you can add Southampton to it, and you've got a fourfold around 13.5, 14 to 1. Conscious on the run we've been on.
Yep.
We've got a nice treble there, around 7.5 to 1, depending where you go. We'll obviously get that boosted by Sky Bet as well. West Brom, Salford, Newport, 3 home teams. Would we be happy for that as a Tuesday treble?
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, given our rotten run, I'd be keen to keep it to a 3.
Yep.
To a 3 this midweek.
Southampton's there if you want to include it, but let's take those 3 teams then. This midweek's Acca for the Tuesday night games across the Sky Bet EFL. It's West Brom to beat Cardiff, it's Salford to beat Doncaster, and it's Newport to beat Notts County. Coming up, we'll talk any other bets. So that's our treble for Tuesday night. That's got me excited. And do we need it? Spoken like a person who stayed up till 4 a.m. watching a sport in America that was at least all right, and it was worth it. So I've had very little sleep on that. Any other bets then, as we usually do in the second part of the podcast? Man City are in action, aren't they? Tuesday night in the Champions League. They're the only English team this week, I think.
That is
saw
correct.
that game then. They're away in Denmark at Copenhagen. Is there anything here that kind of catches your eye?
Oh boy, is there?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah. Well, not a lot of juice in the 1x2. Obviously, City
What?
might be away from.
Oh, fuck's sake. Let's try that again then. I think it's fair to say I was up all night watching Super Bowl, so I was very tired. We needed a bit of perking up, I felt there.
Oh yeah.
And standing outside in the freezing cold because of a fire alarm, probably the best way to do it. The Acca then that we decided on, I need to find it on my laptop, West Brom, Salford and Newport, around that 7.5 to 1 marker. Any other bets? We didn't talk about it then, but should we look at the Champions League? Manchester City in action, Copenhagen away. What do you fancy in this one, if there is anything?
Well, yeah, I've got one bet in mind, and it's not from the 1x2. Very little value in there. Surprise, surprise.
It's 12 to 1, the Danish side to win.
Oh dear. City obviously expected to win, and Pep had the luxury of resting a few of the big hitters at the weekend.
Yep.
Still eventually got the job done against Everton. One of the big names left out, unfortunately for my fantasy football team, was De Bruyne. But he come on, and despite a limited time, he set one up for Haaland. He's only started 3 games this season, I think.
Wow. Well, he got injured on the first game against Burnley, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But he's expected a massive injury, but despite only starting 3, he's got 5 assists and he scored twice. Should get the nod from the off in Denmark. Copenhagen is in Denmark, isn't it?
It is in, yes. Yeah.
Sometimes I just don't check these things. I just
No,
rely
it's
on my own knowledge.
It's in Europe. I can tell you that.
Yeah, but anyway, Kevin De Bruyne is a great price for an assist, around 11 to 8, and I would not put anybody off that.
One from me in this, just Copenhagen to score. Maybe is an intriguing one with Man City's kind of, not iffy, but their away records obviously away in the Champions League doesn't quite match that at home. Did it in all 3 of their home Champions League group games. City conceded in all 3 of their away games. And actually, I didn't realise this until I looked at it. City have conceded in each of their last 6 Premier League away games too. So Copenhagen can get around even money to just score a goal in the game.
Even money?
Yeah, which is obviously 12 to 1 to win, even money just to score in that one. So I'd probably be looking towards there if I was to have something in the Manchester City game. There's still a little bit of time if you want to go elsewhere. Anywhere else that's kind of caught your eye?
Yeah, I have got one more bet, and it's back to the Hawthorns. I mentioned Ramsey's probably going to start, and because he's been away for so long, I didn't realise just how many goals he got at the start of the season. 6 starts, 3 goals.
Okay.
He did score at the against Leicester as well. So they're a pretty good team.
They're good.
They're a pretty good team. He's a pretty good player.
Yeah.
Would you care to hazard a guess what price he is to net any time? Bear in mind he's got 3 and 6 starts.
Don't know. I suppose with West Brom being such short price, 4 to 1.
Ooh, you're gonna have to pump those numbers up.
5 to 1.
Pump them up. 17 to 2.
Wow. Okay.
Bowser Rooney. Yep, Champions League player. He's got top-notch pedigree. I know he's going against the treble, but from a purely price perspective, I'm going to have a little nibble on that.
I guess it's that, not insurance, but if you're not overly convinced, it's 2 schools of thought. 1, there's a Cardiff-based angle if you're not sure. And 2, easily West Brom could score 3.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And still win the game in that one as well.
And it's just the floor's open on a Monday. We can do what we want.
Do what you want.
There's no rules. I'd recommend just, if he does play, if he stays fit, just keep your eyes on that price, because I can't see it changing too much over the coming weeks. So, bit of shelf life on that bet.
There we go. Well, we were 1 goal short of our over 2.5 goals treble
Oh, we were close, weren't
last
we?
week. So I was looking around and there were a few games where I thought, if you can't do results, there's a couple of over 2.5 goals games there that we could look at. Those 3 around 6-1 if you go for this one. Norwich v Watford, basically on Norwich a while. You just don't really know what to expect with them. And a 0-0 draw against Wednesday, the only time Watford have failed to score in any of their last 7 away. Shit. So there's that one. Bolton versus Wickham. Now, this put me off back in Bolton to win the game. Wickham, where the hell have all these goals come from all of a sudden? They 5-2 against Peterborough, 3-1 and 2-2 the results in their last 3 games. And Shrewsbury against Barnsley. Just intrigued by the value of this Shrewsbury team having changed managers, scored in all 3 games under Paul Hurst as well. And we've already spoke so much about Barnsley and their attacking output. So Norwich v Watford, Bolton versus Wickham, Shrewsbury, Barnsley, over 2.5 goals treble is around 6-1. If you want a Champions League one as well, Leipzig, Real Madrid, could be a bit chaotic in there as well, even with Bellingham's injury. The fourfold on that, around 10.5-1.
Ooh, yes.
There we
Very
go
nice.
on that one. And you've chucked in a big goal scorer, so I'll throw one out as well. Aidan Flint.
Shit.
We've spoken about him so much, haven't we? Anytime, Mansfield at home to Harrogate in this one. 7-1, this price. Strong set-piece team against a rubbish set-piece team. Back Connor Hall scored for Colchester at the weekend. He didn't, but he did have an effort on goal, so it shows, he came close. But he scored a couple already this season. He had 2 shots in the away win at Harrogate, 4 in the recent home draw with Sutton. Aidan Flint's had 7 shots in a game this season.
No, he hasn't.
Against Grimsby. 7 shots in a game. Clear aerial threat. You can get him at 7-1 to net against a Harrogate side who are just bad at defending free kicks and corners. If you had to pick one of those, though, one of the bets that you've said there, the Ramsey or the De Bruyne, which would you go for?
The Ramsey ones, it's such a nice price. I'm rooting for it, but KDB assist, it's got to be the bet. 5, and he's only started 3 league games.
You can mix it up. You could go the Ramsey and Flint double.
Shit.
You could do the De Bruyne with Copenhagen to score as part of some build-a-bit.
Get a bit daft.
All the options there. You could just go for it, yeah. There are any other bets then as well. To recap the results treble that we made in the first part of the show, we've got West Brom to beat Cardiff, we've got Salford to beat Doncaster, we've got Newport to beat Notts County as well. And as we say every single week, remember to keep it fun. Never bet more than you can afford. Please gamble responsibly. And of course, get in touch with us on social media.
Yes.
Search Sport and Life Football. Jim Rod loves it. Or in the
Absolutely
YouTube
do.
comments. Be able to find us that way as well. And head over to sportandlife.com/football. You'll be able to find the link to back our treble at an enhanced price. And if you haven't already, please follow and rate us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. We will be back with this week's Acca, the full episode, on Thursday.